I had a bit of a nightmare this morning. I told you. I don't know if this is worth telling.
Well, I'll try it.
Well, most people don't. Won't really empathise. But today is bank holiday. Most people are off work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happens at our company or our factory is people go in if they want to. And because we get a lot of sales over the weekend, they're not particularly high on a daily basis because it's basically 2.5 days worth of sales in one day.
Yeah.
If you extend that to 3 days, it's like absolutely manic on the Tuesday. So people tend to go in.
Yeah.
Get a phone call at 5 to 7 this morning. Luckily I'm up because Sarah's got work. And I'm preparing breakfast for her and stuff like that. Sam, the label software is not working now. What I've done is I've written a piece of software. Because you imagine you've got 250 packages to get out on a Monday morning. That's a lot of labels you've got to create. And we use a lot of different couriers because the kind of things we sell, they go from something about that thin, about that wide, which you can send via first class Royal Mail, up to a 6 metre long length of tube. So we've got lots of different couriers, and you've got to split out all the sales, who's going with what courier and stuff like that. And anyway, it's a right pain in the butt. So you've got like a major mission on your hands before you get anything out the door. So I wrote this piece of software that pulls all the sales from eBay and then has a database of all the different items and which way we sell them, and does some little logic. So if it's a European sale, it goes with one courier. If we sold something small but it goes with something long, it goes with another courier, sort of thing. And it automatically does it, and it does 90% of it, and then the other 10% it lets you choose which courier you're going to, and then it produces some files which you can upload to the couriers, which creates the labels. It takes about half an hour in the morning as opposed to an hour and a half. Big thing. So I get this phone call: Sam, software's not working. What's going on? Can you have a look at it, please? I've come into work, I've tried it at work, and I've tried it over the VPN. It's not working. Right. Okay. I think, oh God, what is it? Now, occasionally it trips itself up if there's a bit of a funny order that we don't normally get. Like, someone from New Zealand has bought one before and he hasn't understood how to pass the address, sort of thing. So I think, oh, there's something in there. Someone's bought something that's a little bit funny. We've just got to take that out of the sales for it to download. So I start going through the logs, and the logs are showing it all looks okay. All the addresses have correlated. It's cleaned up all the postcodes and everything like that. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on here? So I thought, okay, I've got to step through, debug this, just see what's going on, see if there's any other messages coming out. So I load up the project in my IDE, Eclipse in this case. Now, I used to have a cloud desktop. So it was like a copy of Windows in the cloud, which I could access from anywhere. I used to do all my coding on there. So it meant, when I went to work, or whether I was here or whether I was somewhere else, I could get on my laptop and I could log onto the cloud and I could update it, from
the project is safely saved in the Arizona desert.
Yeah. But that was costing me £30 a month, and I decided I'm not doing that anymore. Well, there was a reason. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I mean, I started it to see if it worked, and it did work quite well. But I decided it's not worth the expense now.
Remember, it's £30, not $30. That's like $40.
Yeah, I committed it to a repository, so I could pull it down on whatever computer I wanted, and then if I need to step through debugging it. So I pulled it down, hit debug, and it ran, and then I hit refresh labels, and it came up with this weird error. eBay, basically I'm using the eBay SDK for pulling our sales and stuff like that. And it's the old way. It uses SOAP, which is, do you know what a WSDL is? WSDL?
No.
So when you program, you've got like an interface. If you program to an interface, so an interface is just a list of methods that a class has to implement. If it's basically the internet version of that. It's like an XML file which says this remote service supports these methods, and this is what it expects you to supply in order to exactly in order to call them. Yeah, and it's saying it couldn't find this WSDL on the class path. Please add it to the class path. I'm like, what the frig, you know? Anyway, I'm starting to pull my hair out here because I've got people at the factory doing work, but nothing can get packaged up because they haven't got any labels. I'm like flipping out. They're going to be swimming in it soon, and I'm like, I'm an hour and a bit in at this point. By the time I've sort of like fannied around with it, I'm like really stressing, stressing. You know, I think flipping it. Okay, go and have a cup of coffee.
Let your brain.
There's going to be a way around this. Don't stop panicking. Right, so I go downstairs, make myself a coffee. And I'm thinking, what the bloody hell could it be? Maybe I should try a different version. Maybe go back another version to the last time I committed. I'm thinking of all these ways through, and I thought, I'll go through all the sales, make sure there's no weird New Zealand ones or Indian ones or anything like that. So I think, okay, I'll get a bit of a plan together, get my coffee, and I'll start going back to my office upstairs. As I'm going up the stairs, I'm thinking, yeah, okay, I'm going to get this all. All of a sudden, my slippers haven't got a back on them.
Right, yeah.
You just stick your feet in.
Yeah.
They started coming off my feet.
Oh, God.
As I'm going up the stairs.
Oh, God.
Right. Now, normally what happens in this situation, I have to step out the slippers.
Yeah.
But what happened in this instance, my slippers decided that they were going to trip me up. And the weirdest thing, you know you've made a conscious decision.
Yeah, and it's the wrong decision.
And you're sort of like, I know I'm tripping up. I can either try and save it, or I can just say, screw it, I'm going to go. And I was in that mood, so much had gone wrong this morning. I thought, screw it. So as I'm going down, face is heading towards the deck. I'm thinking, I'm going here. And I just chuck the coffee in the air. Because I think it's going anyway.
Right.
And I don't want to land on it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. My face is, and it goes up, and bang, face hits the floor at the top of the stairs. I'm like, I just turn into the Incredible Hulk. I'm like punching my way through the floor. I'm using a 4-letter expletive, and the bombing's downstairs going, whoa. I'm not going up there. So now I've picked myself up. I've got work screaming for their labels. I have no idea how I'm going to get this sorted for them, other than manually doing it, which isn't going to help any situation.
Yeah, you could have only temporarily do that, couldn't you? And then fix it whilst they're...
And the carpet is covered in coffee.
Oh.
The wall is covered in coffee. The door is covered in coffee.
Oh, God.
And I'm like...
Bugger.
At that point, it felt like my brain was going to explode.
Yeah.
I just thought... So I got the carpet cleaner out. I started cleaning the carpet as quickly as I could. Got a sponge out. Started wiping down. I didn't actually notice the door had got covered. So cleaned it all down. Went back into the office, just steaming, looking at my monitor, thinking, "You work, you bastard! I'm gonna hit debug now, and you better bloody work."
It'll work.
It didn't work. I figured it out in the end. For some reasons, this is so bizarre, yeah. So you get on, I'm working with Jar. So you get the eBay SDK project from eBay, and it's supplied with some jars, pre-built jars, or you can build them yourself. I'd added that to my Maven repository, yeah, and it'd been working for months and months, wow, years. It's been working.
Yeah.
It turned out, I suddenly noticed when I looked at the jar, the WSDL was in the jar. But the camel casing was slightly different. So the error was all lowercase. eBay WSDL SVC service was all lowercase. But in the jar, it was camel cased. And I was like, how is that? So I go onto my backup of all these jars, and I take my jar and I manually add it into the project.
Yeah.
I take it out of the POM, the Maven thing. Manually add it to the project, hit compile, and it runs.
So is it
Someone's
It has to have changed.
someone's frigging with me, honestly.
Someone's changed it to lowercase.
Yeah, someone's changed the case of the
whole file?
of just this WSDL file that's locked in your jar. Now, what I should have done was the jar was in Maven. What I should have done is opened it. I think you can open it with a RAR or the zip file. You can actually open it because a jar file is just a zip file.
Yeah.
I should have renamed it and repackaged it as a jar, but and seen if that worked. But I mean, that was absolutely bizarre.
It's got to be something on the cloud, Windows something, processing all the text.
Well, I'm wondering if
I don't know how it would automatically make it all lowercase. Doesn't make sense, does it?
no.
There's nothing that you would put it through which would make it lowercase. There's no that I can think of. So yeah, like you said, it's somebody. It's Bill Gates in the go.
Someone's screwing with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a real stressy morning.
Does anyone at work have any clue what you do?
No.
So it's nobody at work can't.
That's the other pressure point. Yeah.
You're the only one. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm going on holiday on Thursday, if that label software doesn't work, everything's screwed, and
You've got to go home.
I'm in Italy. You know.
You go in the hotel, can you use your internet?
Yeah. Even if I could do internet, what am I going to do? Oh, but yeah, so it's sort of for now. Actually, I found, and once I could compile it and step through it, I found out what the problem was. I'd done a release of the software a few months ago, and I'd added another option for packaging as a courier, a large letter, because the franking machine stopped working, and somehow some of these have been associated with large letter, and for some it broke it.
I see. Right.
So all I had to do was change 2 database entries, and it worked.
Yeah, but how did that make it lowercase?
Honestly, I don't know. I think somewhere along the line, because when you get a WSDL, you don't actually implement all these functions. You run a program which analyzes the WSDL and turns it into code.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if when you use the SDK, it automatically queries the latest version of the WSDL and compares against that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if eBay have changed it their end, maybe that's getting through somehow. Don't know.
Is it? So does eBay generate this thing, this file?
Yeah.
That's what it is, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Must be.
Something like
Something to do with eBay. Yeah.
Maybe.
They're changing things for no reason.
Maybe. So yeah, I mean, it was a stressy morning. So yeah, I went up the allotment, started digging things.
And then I'd send you a text in pseudo French. Do you see you do to Tom's on Tom's something baguette? In other words, when are we doing the thing?
It wasn't actually. I came back. I'll tell you what. There's no greater feeling than coming back from the allotment and going in the shower. It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Get out of the shower, and I suddenly notice the door, bedroom door, covered in coffee.
Shit.
Gotta clean up. Yeah, this is the other thing. Sarah's leaving me. She's saying, go back to bed after. I don't want you grouchy tonight. Go back to bed after you sorted this out. Like 3 hours later. Yeah. And I texted her to say, I've had a right nightmare. I've spilt coffee everywhere. It was a really hard problem.
Well.
And you know what she's worried about?
The door.
Did you get the coffee off the floor? Is the wall clean, Sam?
As long as everything's clean, nothing works. But that's happened before you've gone on holiday.
Yeah.
That could have happened
afterwards
while you were on holiday.
Yeah.
So
it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
But also a warning.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone actually knows a definitive answer to that, let us know.
Yeah.
We've got any viewers who would have a clue?
Well, I'm just wondering if I've built the jar myself and I've set the output to lowercase. I honestly can't remember doing that, and why it would.
Button somewhere.
And why it wouldn't have. Why it's only just picked it up now.
Yeah,
it would have happened ages ago.
eBay update. It has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah. Never mind.
I fell over once playing the guitar and broke a table.
Did you?
Yeah, it's quite funny. This was at my parents' house. Which I can't really remember, but my parents' dining room turned into my studio. basically. That's one point. I don't know how, it was like over a period of years, somehow, it started with just a computer in the dining room and it developed from there. And then an amp and a guitar and things like this. And my parents had like a big glass table, dining table. It was glass though, and it had like, you know, like sort of posh pipe things like this. It looks like it's not going to hold it up, but they look very nice. You know, it's just a pipe like that, and then 4 of those for each corner, kind of thing. I don't remember the details. I was like 16, something like that. No, older than that. There was 2 PCs. Okay, I mean old, you know, the big white box things. There was 2 of them, so I had to be 18, which makes it more embarrassing.
1998.
And it's when you said, you know, there's that moment where you have to make a decision, and I had to decide whether to play this difficult bit, even though I'd lost my balance, or forget the playing the guitar and gain my balance back. No, I decided, for some reason. Why I was in that situation in the first place, I have no idea. But I decided to play the difficult bit correctly. Yes. And then fell back into the glass table, which had these 2 massive computers on them. Table just went bunk in half. And I was stuck holding the table up and holding the computers like this, going, help, help. And someone had to come and help.
Didn't you have like an office in your house? I seem to remember playing computers in your office.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I remember when... you came to visit with Wenton, and I showed you a Java. It can't have been Java.
No, it's C++.
It must have been C++, yeah, because it was like 1998, so Java was like...
Brand new then.
Yeah. Was it 1996? No, it was 1996.
Actually, it might have been. It was the first year. When did we graduate A-levels?
96. I think it's September 96, yeah. So it actually, I think it predates Java, as far as I know. Well, certainly people using it. So it must have been C++. And I showed you this compiler. Look, I've got a C++ compiler. I don't know why. And you said, "Yeah, I'll be around to use that."
Well, I need to do some work for uni.
About 15, when we were about 28 or 29, that was the next time I saw you.
Yeah, because when I went to uni to study computers, I didn't have a computer. Well, I had an Amiga. Not really.
Yeah, by 1996.
Played Championship Manager though.
Mm.
Yeah, so I had homework to do over Christmas. No computer to do it.
Yeah. Well, you didn't. Well, surely by the time you get to October, you realise
not doing it.
Yeah, that's not what university's for.
Didn't really turn up in the first year.
Yeah, I didn't. Especially when it's a subject you kind of already know.
Yeah.
And that's part. I think computer science degrees aren't organised right. I think the first year is too easy for some people and too difficult for others. So for us, certainly for me, it was far too easy. You know, I just said, I don't have to do that. I know everything. And the second year, oh no, I know everything. Third year, oh my god. There's actually things, you know, when you start doing the AI and all that stuff you'd never heard of, and neural nets and all that, and it was exciting, but it was difficult because I'd never done any work before.
Hand an assignment in on time. What?
Yeah, it was incredibly stressful. Even though the work itself wasn't hard, it was the fact that I was just doing work was, you know, awful.
Anyway.
So yeah, I fell over. And that's the end of that story as far as I can remember. But yeah, you must have seen those computers on that desk, on that table.
I don't remember that. I remember going...
It must have been you and Wenton. It must have been.
Yeah, Vinny was there, definitely. That time, but we weren't there. I don't think we were there that long. Doesn't matter.
I think it was just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Don't remember. That one's a long time ago. That's too far back to remember.
Too many brain cells have gone by the wayside since then.
Yeah, we're always back to sixth form then. And don't remember any of that. I just remember Mr. Wentworth. Really, and I now understand his persona. His attitude was one of wariness and waiting for us to leave. That's what it was. That was the thing. It's just go, just leave, and then You can start again with the next lot who won't be like you. Because we were crap, weren't we? We were crap students.
Waste of an education.
Completely wasted. Imagine if it was... Well, in this country now, it used to be free. Okay? Higher education was free in the UK. And when we did it, it was still free, wasn't it? I think. Yeah. You could have a grant. Well, no, they got rid of a grant.
You had student loans for maintenance, basically.
Yeah, but you could get a student loan to live on. But the course was free.
Yeah.
Now, it's £9,000 a year. And people are doing the same thing we were doing.
People are doing media studies and things like that, aren't they?
Yeah, it makes no difference that you've got to pay for it. I thought people would stop going to university, but it went up. When they first introduced it, it went up. You know. So it's interesting that it's almost like it's giving it more value. It's like, oh, I've got to do that then.
Yeah, it's because I'm paying for it. It's a golden ticket. Media studies.
And the problem is, I mean, well, media studies is the stereotype. I'm sure there's good media courses you can do, and filming or something.
I've done a HNC in media.
I remember you saying.
Yeah, I did that for shits and giggles, basically.
Yeah.
You know, something to keep the brain exercised, and it is interesting. It's interesting, but the idea that you're gonna take that and go and work in it is very,
become a cameraman at the BBC.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
It's the media more than as much as any other industry, especially in this country.
Sector.
It's not what you know; it's who you know.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, I mean, people who are cameramen, professional cameramen, they didn't go to university and study media studies.
No. They knew someone at the BBC.
They knew someone.
Yeah, because they went to a posh school and know the person who did the person or something.
And that's what's wrong with this country.
Yes, class.